Today I'll be presenting on asphalt recycling and advanced equipments for the sustainable development. This is in line with NHI guidelines, what we have today. In 2022, this was highlighted in a major way to use sustainable material for the asphalt roads, because what will happen is, if we don't recycle these roads, we are the second largest road network in the whole world after America. And if we construct all this 64 lakh kilometers of our 6.4 million kilometers of road, then the mountains which are close to our house will disappear. It is very important that we recycle this material. Not only recycling will help us with the aggregates, also with the bitumen, because the crude oil also we import. So we, as Ammann, as a global leader, we have taken initiative in India to start recycling, and we already started this for past 4 years. Now we have recycling plants and attachments, around 320 units in all over India. Today I'll be giving just a small glimpse, because just 10 minutes are not enough to cover the entire subject. I'll just give a glimpse of what we are doing and how it can help everyone in the industry. This is usually the recycled material which I see every day in the side of the roads. Wherever we travel, we can see this material. Or some places they bring it into their camp and then just dump it. So on one such site, I had just visited them, and I broke open one of this pavement, this asphalt pavement which was brought from the old road. And when I seen it, the bitumen is oozing out from this pavement. You see not only the aggregates, but the bitumen. Now, if we just throw this into the place, this bitumen will leach into the ground and then go down into the water. And water also will get contaminated. So it's necessary that we use this. When I visited this site and asked the owner and the project manager of the site what they are going to do with this recycling, they said we have no idea what we want to do. Just because we were asked to remove it, so we removed it, and we are putting a complete new layer. As far as this recycling of this, they said we don't have any attachment in the asphalt plant, and now we have a design to use it. So what we can do is we use them into the wet mix or in GSP, granular subbase or wet mix macadam. But then this doesn't solve our problem. Recycling means wherever your material you have taken from the road, you have to put it back in the same place. Like if you have taken from bituminous, it is better to put in the bituminous pavement and not below it. If you put below it, it will work just as a filler. It will not help anyone. All the bitumen which is inside will be wasted. We know recycling is very important. Why? It saves money, avoids landfills, and resources. This is given, this is understood now. We have, I think, around about 4-5 years, we are working on this recycling. And this is a topic we know, if you do recycling, we can save so many things. But today I'll take you a little deeper into the subject. Just keeping recycling aside, when you use asphalt plant, all the participants who are into this group, if they ever seen an asphalt plant or if they worked on that, when you run an asphalt plant, you take the input, you process it, you mix it with the bitumen, you mix it filler or cement, whatever it is, and then you take the output, what you can see number 1 over here. But as you do that, whenever you hit the aggregates, there will be something called wastage in the terms of filler. That is from 64 micron to 75 microns. It is as thin as the hair of a head. And this filler, recuperating filler, you can use only 2% as per the MOT or IRC. And rest of the filler has to be taken out and thrown away because it's of no use to us. Same way, there's also overflow, oversized material which is coming out from the asphalt plant. Number 3. Now, both of this material, number 2 and number 3, is coming when you hit the material. That means after hitting, we are throwing this material away. And to throw the away, you require loaders just to throw them away. So what you're doing, if you see a left-hand side of your screen, you see you put it input by the loader, you process it, you heat it, you take it up all the way on top, you do gradation of that material as per the JMF, and you know it is not working. Some of the metal has been thrown out in number 3, and some of the metal has been thrown out in number 2. This is not only wastage for the contractor, it is wastage of the nation also. Any asphalt plant, if you run, we try to minimize this wastage, number 2 and number 3. But just imagine, if we bring this number 2 and number 3 in number 1 inside a truck, how much will be the saving? Lot of them. Not only on the fuel saving, it's the maintenance part, it's the processing part, time, power consumption, everything, labor, everything. So we are discussing today how to bring down this normal cost of asphalt plant through recycling. So on this slide, I just take it little further to that. I showed you the picture. It is on top. Now just imagine I take this just 30% of recycling material. That means number 2 and number 3, 30% of the metal will be utilized into recycling because we are not going to process the fresh aggregate there. So that part will minus. If I do 50% of or 40% of recycling, the metal from number 2 and number 3 also will reduce because I am putting recycled metal, so I am not processing a fresh aggregate. Same with 60%, same with 100%. So what I meant to say is recycling is not only helping for the sources to renew it, but also the normal condition of running of the plant, we are saving money there also. So it is saving money on recycling material as well as running of the asphalt plant in normal condition. So I go a little more further into the subject. Before recycling, it is very important that RAP management is known, because once you bring your RAP, you have to do the sieve analysis, do the gradation, see how much is the bitumen inside, and then you have to match it with your fresh mix design with the sieve analysis. So what we have seen is whenever we have these such big chunks over here, in India, we usually use crusher to break them. Technically, it is not crusher. It should be a lump breaker or what we call as a shredder in Ammann. What it does is, if you see any chocolate which is having nuts inside, or nut chocolate, or Cadbury, or anyone, if you break the chocolate, the Cadbury, the gum part of it breaks. Nut never breaks with your hand when you try to break it. If you take a hammer and start hitting that chocolate, then the nuts break with other part of the chocolate. Same way here, we have the same example here. If we take this big chunks of RAP material, which we have removed from the pavement, and we try to put in the crusher, crusher will break everything, not only the gum, but everything, even the stones. And once you break the stones, they go more into finer, creating a larger surface area. So that may be not having very good impact. And secondly, when you break the stones, it opens up from the center. So the white part is visible. When white part is visible, then you require more bitumen to cover it. So in this way also, you're not going to save much into this. So best part is we have to use lump breaker or the shredder. But in India, what I have seen is mostly we use milling machine. And once you milled it, you mill and bring it, and then we have this power screen or any screen to separate it. It is very important to separate the RAP metal into coarser and finer. Once we have more fraction of RAP, it is easy to control them. Otherwise, if you don't treat the RAP the way it is, with the proper gradation, no matter how good quality you have a plant, it's of no use. The road will break. So once we have this gradation, we usually in Europe, in our factory and all, in Ammann and other sites, we cover it, because while milling we put water, so there's water already there in the recycled material, and also at night there's a dew, all these factors in the rain season, there's a rain, so it is all been absorbed by the recycled material. So best thing it is cover it. So the covering has to be done. So more the dried material, more higher capacity of the RAP can be used. Now coming back to the plant, what are the percentages we can use? We use 20 to 30%. There's a method for that. And this method is mostly used in India. Right now, we have supplied 273 plants with this method. In this method, what we do is we fill in this material into the hopper of RAP for 30%. We do the volume calibration of this hopper. We take the material all the way, take it on the elevator, and then we have a weighing belt. What we have in a concrete plant, same weighing belt we have for the 30% of the metal. For example, if we take a batch of 1 ton, 700 kgs will be coming from the normal plant, virgin aggregates, and 30%, the 300 will come from this recycled material. We weigh that 300 kgs exactly, and then we mix it inside the mixer with the virgin aggregate. The temperature of the aggregate which is coming in the virgin will be higher, because we have to have a heat transfer, because this rest of the metal is going cold from down. So we know exactly what is the temperature required in the vehicle. If it is 150 degrees, we just feed it in the computer. Computer does all the reverse calculation to get all this virgin temperature higher range, maybe 160, 180 or 190 or even 200 if the moisture is more. And then we have the correct mix of this recycled material. Just to show you a small video, very small video, because the subject is a little bit different. So I just want to show you the video is taking the recycled material. Just putting the recycled material inside the hopper. You see, this is all black material. This is I'm talking about the 30% of recycled material. The old one goes on the hopper and then via volume goes on the pad. And then you see my mouse. I don't know whether you can see my mouse. Just following the mouse, my elevator will go up. The video is showing only the recycle addition. The rest of the plant is working the other side. The fresh aggregates from the virgin aggregate. So all the metal will come, and this is the weighing belt. You can see the weighing belt. You weigh this 300 kg here, and then it is processed inside the mixer for the mixing. This is the mixer, what you can see. We have virgin aggregate in this, 70% and 30% of oxygen. And then we mix it, and then we run the mix again. So this method is used in most part of India, 30%, because this is a very controlled. We get a printout of everything, we get a printout of temperature, we have printout of each batch, we have printout of what that percentage of use from morning to evening. Can be 30%, can be 25%, can be 20%. Whatever the percentage we have used, everything will come under printout. And by sitting in border, even I can see what is happening in this plant. I can get connected to any other plant all over India. All of our factory in Gujarat, we also can see. Some places where there is elevator, there is no place. We have this belt system, long conveyor system, but work is same for 30%. Once you cross 30%, you have to use regenerator to regenerate the dead bitumen, the oxidized bitumen. So they say that once you cross 20 or 30% above, you want to do the wrap, then you have to use this liquid. This liquid can be fit inside a mixer. We can put it inside the dry outlet for the 60% bigger plants. Or we can put it in the bitumen weigher, not bitumen tank, bitumen weigher. So we can put as per the percentage. Usually they use 0.2% of the percentage of the wrap. So we can do that, and that also can be used in these plants. And we usually do it once we cross 20 or 25%. Further going little bit is the 40%. We have in this 40% method, we use it's a little hot warm you can say wrap. We put it inside the drum. And then we have combination of 30 and 40%. That comes to 55%. Means 30% is and 15% of hot. So this combination plants also we have lot, cold and little bit hot. So you can go up to 55%, 45% into this. That's the reason is that the largest size of aggregate, like DBM aggregate, you can put inside a drum and heat it up because it's having less bitumen on top of. And the finer bitumen we can use directly inside the mixer. Because the BC, especially, is having a lot of bitumen in it, like 2%, 3%, sometimes even 3.5%, we can use it. So this is a combination of both. So we have these plants around about 11 plants all over India. And the last one is 60%. 60% plant is a huge plant. They're very, very big. And it's having 2 towers in that. And 60% plant, we have total 6 plants, 4 are supplied and 2 are under dispatch, and 1 is under erection. 1 is under dispatch, 1 is under erection. In this, we have 2 drums, 1 at the bottom, 1 on top. And this technology goes far more advanced because 60% will be hot recycling. So here we have virgin aggregate only 40%, and rest 60% is a hot recycled material we process. And these are the plants. I'll show a small video to wind up my presentation. So this is for the 60%, very small video. This video is available on the YouTube. It's a big one where we explain each and everything. But just to sum up in this small presentation, I just put this working site. This is a recycling. And then we have 100%, but we have so far not done it in India. But of course, in Europe, we have around about 73 plants of this. So I would not go into that. Once we do that, I will definitely present it to you all.